Hey everyone, I'm Caitlin, as Lynn said, from Intr Studios. Before we get started, I don't want anyone to go into like a lunchtime slump, and I'd love to know what everyone is doing, except I've missed all of the networking things because we're at something else at the museum. So I'm just going to get everyone, is everyone physically able to raise their hands if I ask some questions? Sweet. All right. Do we have any 3D artists in the room? 3D artists. Do we have anyone that's worked in a game engine before? Do we have anyone that's used mocap before? Alright, now I'm going to go totally wild. Any musicians in the audience? Hey, it was cool. Any video or photography people? Cool. Any fashion designers? Yeah? Alright, I got stuff for all of you. This is going to be good. So about Intr, we make games, that's more what we're known for, but we also do interactive activations with artists and marketing agencies. Even though we are content creators ourselves, we usually work with other people because we're really well known for technical problem solving. People come at us with crazy ideas and we make it work. Mocap is just one of the things that we offer. We also do game design, development, 3D modeling, production too. I have a slide with all of the things at the end, don't worry about that. I created Intr in 2020 down in Bunbury when I moved back during COVID from Sydney. And Ivan, my assistant, no I'm joking, he's my he's our production director and also my husband, is over there. He joined in 2023. We're both located in Bunbury and we serve clients all over the world. A bit about me. I already told you that I founded Intr in 2020. This is my 7th year working with immersive technology. My background was, I grew up in Bunbury, I was a bit of a nerd, addicted to The Sims, and my dad made me learn how to code. Like every hour I spent learning to code, I got to play 1 hour of The Sims. And I love my dad for this because instead of being like, no, you can't play The Sims, he actually saw that I was modding them and he was like, I'm pretty sure there's a whole career in that. And got me, oh, I got the book. That's the book up there when I was 13. I've still got it. It's very close to my heart. Before I got into this career though, I've had quite a few other ones. I was a fashion model. I don't love saying it because people are like, oh, she was a model and now she thinks she knows tech. I do, because I kept learning it when I was nothing. I also worked at a JV Hi-Fi for a bit, which was awesome way for me to like work with teams. Obviously there's a massive range of diversity at the employees at a JV Hi-Fi, so I really found my people and we're all in the games, and I learned what people were buying and why they were playing games as well. I never actually got to work in the game department, but I spent a lot of time in there. Then in 2018, I got a job at a virtual reality studio at the time. I don't even know what made me throw my hat in the ring, but I did it because it was essentially managing a technical team and a 3D team, art team. I was already obsessed with virtual reality at this point. I got one in 2017 for my boyfriend at the time, and then we broke up and I got to keep it, so I was really into it. After that, I did a lot of freelancing, worked on a bunch of different projects. One of the cooler, more art pieces that I did in the first kind of bits of getting into this was a big pink fluffy chandelier called Muffy. It was created by one Jesser. Anyone here watch Star Trek?
Yes!
Yeah? Yeah! I'm a Voyager girl myself.
Oh
yes! Janeway! Well, actually, one Jesser is just Bush, the Doctor in Strange New Worlds. So she's doing all that now. And she's doing cool art stuff as well. Crazy worlds collided. That was really fun seeing her in there. I am a maker. I make everything. I made my own arcade machine, which is that pink one over there. It used to be blue, but didn't go with the decor, so we made it pink. I do woodworking, I do electronics, just like anything. I think I can make it better myself, so I do it, even though it's always better. Helped with the WA Games Week in 2023 with Nat and Ivan and another guy called Alan. And in 2023, I got the Empower Award at the Australian Game Developer Awards, which was really nice to be recognised for the cool stuff I was doing over here. Unrelated fact, but I like Chicago the Musical and the Spice Girls. And last year I spent more money on outfits for my digital avatar than in real life. So today I'm going to go through how can mocap be used, because I think there's so many different applications to it, and it's very, I'm going to be high level on a lot of things, but hopefully like open a lot of doors for you. I'm going to give you a live presentation, because I don't normally wear this. This is for you guys. And talk about the pipelines and workflows and how to put a budget and team together if you are interested in exploring this sort of work. Alright, what is mocap? Mocap, short for motion capture. It's the technology, oh, you guys can read this, right? So essentially what it's doing is it's recording my movements, and then it gives me a set of data that I can then put onto a digital character. Doesn't even necessarily need to be a human. You can map it to whatever you want. It works better with human though. What is real time? Does anyone know the difference between real time and live? No? Cool, okay, I'm glad I included this. This is the last minute addition. So real time doesn't necessarily mean it's live, but what it does mean is that the world and environment that you are putting your audience in is interactable, they can influence it, and it's rendered at runtime instead of pre-rendered. Did that make sense to everyone?
Takes a while.
Yeah?
Break it down.
Yeah, cool. Sweet. I'm just going to watch a couple of minutes of this video, because this was the video that got me into more virtual production.
Alright guys, well I'm very, very excited to be here and show you guys a really cool real-time mocap setup that I've been working on that I think has a lot of potential for bringing virtual characters to life in a very easy way. And so to help us out with that, I got Maniacal here. He's one of the wild and crazy immortal babies from our up-and-coming game called Babylon. Now this setup's based on 4 pieces of off-the-shelf technology, all working together in real time to create everything that you're seeing right here. So we got an iPhone 10 strapped to a $40 paintball helmet. That's doing all the face capture. We got this really cool inertia-based full-body mocap suit by Xsense that's capturing the body. And then we've got the Unreal Engine that's basically hosting the whole setup, as well as making everything look super beautiful. And lastly, we have Ikinema Live Action, which is working in the background, doing a bunch of tuning and retargeting magic to the body data in real time. So let's dig in, starting with the iPhone 10.
All right.
It's basically like, you know...
So this is what got me into this sort of stuff, and I just wanted everyone to recognize that this was 2018. So what I'm actually going to show you is not new technology, but as we know, WA is catching up when it comes to immersive technology. The tech is better and it's more accessible now than it ever was back then, but it's a massive learning curve, and hopefully we can help you know what you're going to be up against if you do want to go down this route. Some examples to take a look at. I know that I'm going to go over time, so I'm just going to take a photo of that if you want to. These are a couple of examples of live data being streamed. The two on this side are actually Australian-based as well. Sally from Big Sand is amazing, and she actually really wants to come over, so if anyone wants to see like an amazing virtual concert experience come to Perth, let's all like get her over here for it. So for the demonstration I'm about to show you, I have the full body motion capture kit on. I've got hand things, a body thing. I've got a head rig with an iPhone 10, just like the guy in 2018 had. There is a studio license which you can get. There's actually a free version if you want to try it. It's called Rokoko. Just be aware that the free version, you are totally given it your AI, given some AI your data. We have the enterprise license though, so you can work on some nice NDA stuff. You need a decent PC. This one's super overpowered, but you can get away with any sort of like anything of RTX and above in your graphics card. Strong Wi-Fi. We have a dedicated router over there that's literally just there to process the data from my suit to the computer and into into Unreal Engine. Magnetic interface is bad. This is why I'm over here, away from the speaker, and I'm not touching the microphone. We're going to be tracking my face, my body, and my fingers. And shall we get started? What's up? So what is happening is all of my body data, my hands and face, when it's tracking, is getting streamed over to the router, like I said, into my computer and into Unreal Engine. Ivan is controlling the camera, so as you can see, it's real time. This is all happening in real time. It doesn't need anything rendered. What I really wanted to do, but it was just another point of failure that I wasn't willing to get into this talk, was we can actually like put some live data stuff going into those screens if we wanted to. For example, if we have like a NDI camera pulling in audience, we could chuck you up there. We could chuck some machine learning to know when you're raising your hands and then have some confetti come down or something like that. Yeah, so that's actually how easy it is. I think I freaked everyone out when I said I was going to do a live motion capture thing, but we were able to come and be completely self-contained. We just have a HDMI power cable and audio jack from the tech team there.
Right.
Everything else is just like, we bought it, we can set that up wherever we have those three things. Don't even really need the HDMI cable, but yeah. Cool. Does anyone have any questions about this?
Can we see the hands? That's amazing. How does it track that?
So it has sensors in the fingers.
Yeah, right.
They're like little
Like-
bendy sensors.
Are they sensing the movement or like?
The sensing, if you felt on the top, there's like a little, I think it's measuring the bend.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Piezo like activator or something. Like
Yeah.
it bends, the more it bends, the more voltage goes through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Electronic too. Yeah.
Where's the camera?
The camera,
Yeah,
the one that's tracking my face.
that's sending that perspective to that computer.
So Ivan's actually controlling a virtual camera.
Yeah.
He's moving the camera that's showing the data around. And then I've got a camera here.
Yeah.
And everything else is sensor based.
Okay.
There's no other external sensors or cameras. You can add on external sensors that do make it more accurate, but I don't know, it's getting pretty good without it. Yeah. Yes.
Can't see from back here, but do you have something on your feet as well? Or?
I have a sensor on each foot. I will say I haven't quite mastered how to do it really well in high heels yet, but boots and barefoot's pretty good.
How many sensors are there altogether in your rig?
I think it's 19. I'd have to double check actually. It's 19, not including the hands. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's always the head and the fingers and the piezo 32.
32 with everything. Yeah. Yes.
Are you locked to a specific location of the stage, like a physical body, or can you like walk to the other room and it would still have the same effect?
I can go as far as my Wi-Fi actually wants to go. Like right now, I mean, that being said, the tracking will get weird as I go past multiple magnetic things, but I could walk all the way out there and go to the toilet and take it off, and if I forgot to turn it off, you'd see that.
What about multiple suits?
Yeah.
Same Wi-Fi?
Yeah, you can have as many as you have suits for, really. We actually have 3 suits ourselves. I will say without the external peripheral, it's really challenging to get them to all like sync in the right position with each other. But yeah, we do have an external peripheral that makes it like seamless. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the, now my brain's like, oh, this is so great. But I'm thinking, what's the creative potential of what kind of bodies and shapes you can take on? Because my brain's now thinking about, can I be a blob? Can I be like, what's the range and the scale of the avatars? Are there gaps in which you have to create things yourself, or is there already a variety of different kinds of bodies and shapes you can inhabit?
So the most simplest form is like a human one because it maps over really easy.
Yeah.
But there is nothing stopping you from doing a blob. We actually have a blob enemy in a game that we made for a Fortnite map, and that's mocap. It's just how you rig the 3D model. Yeah.
What's the purpose of optical systems which feel or like look or are a lot more like a lot larger piece of infrastructure and a lot more limited than say a suit like this that's sensor based?
So using an OptiTrack system in 2018 at that first job I was at was actually what made me go, there's got to be an easier way to do mocap, this is ridiculous. And Rokoko was still, they'd only just kind of started going mainstream with their first suit. And I was able to like, they were a very small company then, so I emailed the owner and be like, yo, I want to try this. But there's definitely some pitfalls, like we don't have that much magnetic interference here, but when it's bad, it's really bad. Like, actually, you can kind of see it from the way that my wrist is starting to go weird by holding my phone. If I hold this, doesn't quite like sense the things properly. If I go all the way over to that speaker, I'm probably going to go, yeah, so there's definitely pitfalls. I personally think that for the budgets that we're all working with currently in this market, like the sensor-based ones are the way to go, because as long as you clean up after, you can get really good quality stuff. So I see another end.
So how do you interact with a physical object? Like how would you track that in there? So if you wanted to have like a prop or something and track that, you know, at the same time.
So you can actually use Vive pucks, like HTC Vive pucks. There's still, it's a bit hacky in the newer versions of Unreal, but it works. You can do a live link with the Vive puck, have SteamVR running in the background and record the movement of the object that you want to track. Yeah. Yes.
So you mentioned that this is real time, right? Like not live. So I'm curious about the complexity of the like background, I guess, and also like has that been pre-rendered and now you're like kind of standing like overimposed on it?
No, it's completely like Ivan could actually. Do you want to like rotate the camera all the way around the thing? Yeah. So this is live in the sense that I'm actually streaming it live. This is live and real time together. Okay. If I was going to do this for a proper client, if there was no actual need to be live, I would record it and then make sure that animation is cleaned up before we put it into the experience. Okay. Yeah. I'll actually go through that. If people have more process questions, I'm about to go through it now. So shall I jump to that?
Yeah.
Heaps good.
Shall I switch?
Right, let me just help him switch it over. Alright, it's getting so hot. So motion capture is actually very easy to capture. Like the setup and the bit afterwards is the hardest bit. The actual capturing is the easiest bit of it. What people don't understand though is it's not just a matter of putting the suit on and it's going to look good. We did like 4 test runs of this. We changed how to character yesterday because we decided things weren't good enough. Like there's a lot of steps involved to getting it to the point where it's this easy. And there was still a couple of technical glitches, but like you didn't even notice that. Okay. Small details like calibration and environmental factors, like I mentioned with the magnetic interference. I have actually previously done a mocap job in the museum where there was a massive metal beam directly under us. And yeah, I could see when I'm watching back the captures exactly where that thing was. I knew exactly where it was, even though I couldn't see it. So, you know, things like that are really important. But the longest part is the planning, because you do have to think about, like, where's all the metal beams? I honestly thought that this roof thing was going to do more, but maybe it's plastic. I don't know. What sort of network access do you have? Can you, do you have the ability to set up something yourself, or are you required to plug into like a live stream thing for whatever it is that you're presenting at? There's so many factors involved in the planning. And that's just the actual mocap planning. We haven't even gone into like, what does the 3D character need to do? What's their range of motions? How are we going to set it up in a way that is going to be like easily mapped over? This is the pre-recorded workflow. So this is when you still want to use a real-time environment or even in a rendered thing. You do your concept and pre-production, then you go into your 3D character leveling and rigging, then it's capture time, then you put it on your 3D model and you clean it and you optimize it and import it into the project. When you're doing a live workflow, this becomes a little bit more complex, quite a lot more complex. So it's essentially the same, but then all of a sudden you've also got your programming, interactions, and audio. Because if you're doing a live performance and you're a musician, you're gonna want your mouth and your band to like sync up to what's being shown, right? I'm not sure if anyone actually noticed, but there was like actually quite a delay if you were being particular about what I was doing and what was on screen. So planning around that, like optimizing the network to make sure that it's set up so it's all like synced up. And testing. Like I said, we tested 4 times and we still were changing things at the very last minute. And then it's showtime, capture time. Here are some things to consider. So what are you capturing? What is the best for the type of capture you're doing? So there is the OptiTrack. This is the Rokoko suit. There's also the X-Sense and a bunch of other ones. And then more recently, there's things like Move AI and Radical Motion. They're all really cool tools. Radical and Move use your iPhones and stuff now. You don't even need a suit. There is some limitations, and if you jump in, you identify them pretty quickly. But they are really, really good places to start if this is your first time exploring this sort of area. How many people will be in the scene? Do they need to be captured at the same time? So like I said, our suits without the coil, it's not impossible, but it is hard to sync everyone up. If they don't necessarily have to be synced up, it can be better to capture everyone at different times so that you actually have full control over what's happening with the suit and how the data is coming. Because there's a lot of data coming in when you've got, 4 or 5 people all going at once. Do the faces need to sync up with dialogue? Because there's this thing called ARKit blend shapes, and if you've ever used your iPhone and played with the animojis, or whatever they're called, that's how you're controlling the face, and that's exactly how we control the face in the 3D models. If your 3D model doesn't have those 52 blend shapes, yes, that is 52 different shapes set up in your face, there are ways you can program mapping the blend shape values onto like an actual rigged face. Is it live or pre-recorded? If it's pre-recorded, how long will capture be? And can it be split into smaller sections? This one's really important if you're using something like these suits where you do have the magnetic interference, because you will experience drift if the captures are really long. Sometimes it's unavoidable though. Sometimes you need a 5-minute monologue for whatever reason, and you have to work out how you're going to capture that in a way that's going to not need too much cleanup afterwards. If it's live, how long will the show be? What Bale says can put in for unexpected calibration issues or any sort of syncing failure. We like to kind of have a backup recording just in case. So
I was just going to ask, when you say long, but how long is long, I guess? And like how short is short?
Most of ours are around 30 seconds. We like to try to keep it. There's nothing wrong with doing it longer. It's just the longer it goes for, the more sort of interference that you're going to have to clean up. And it's not exactly like it's not like a constant thing that you can like tip down. It's kind of like a way that it takes over what you're trying to capture. That being said, if it's live though and you have like a 1-hour concert, you can't really like do much about it, but you can put in things in place like, alright, we are chucking a full screen thing up of something else where the body isn't seen. Quick, do a calibration there while no one's looking at the screen. And we're back and we're calibrated again. So it's about like finding creative ways to plan your performance to account for all of this stuff. I have no idea how I'm going for time, so okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Where, what's the context of performance you've done? Is it something that comes later? I'm
Well,
curious where you perform, like when you say performance, like what's the context where you perform these
I've actually never performed myself. This is a special occasion. I usually have other people perform. You guys weren't here for the test dancing. I was pretending to be a Spice Girl. It was great. Yeah. I'll help while you perform. Thanks for asking, though. Cool. So who does what on the team? For a mocap job, I will be completely transparent and say there is overlap with our team members, and sometimes team members doing both things, 3 things, maybe all 4 things. But this is how we split up the actual work that each team member does. The technical producer, which is usually me, will bridge all the gaps between the artists and the engineers. And I'm not talking about the artists or my team, I'm talking about the artists like, oh, you. We'll fill in all those technical knowledge gaps and make sure that all of the stuff that you haven't thought about is thought about, so you can focus on doing what you do best. 3D artist builds the environment usually, rigs all the characters, concepts the characters. The technical artist will set up things like special effects. They'll go through and optimize it. I know there's been, if anyone's worked with VI, you know how important optimization is. That is the technical artist's job usually, or at least in our studio, is they make things look really, really, really good on really, really, really low-end devices. Then you got the programmer that makes the things interactable. If you want to see a really, really good example of a live concert, that I'm pretty sure wasn't totally live, but it's still cool to see. John Legend in 2020, it was around COVID. He did a live performance where people could donate, and every time they donate, something would actually happen in the world that he was performing in. And it's such a beautiful example of like how people globally joined this concert and were interacting and influencing what everyone else around the world was seeing. This is just a really quick sort of thing to get you thinking. So we're making a game, Sovereign of the Seas, at the moment. We have a shanty band in there. And we found this shanty band because we went to dinner with my parents who were like, we really need a shanty band. And we're at Frost Brewery in Bunbury, and what do you know? It's shanty band practice. So we got the anchorman. We talked to their producer and asked if any of the music was already set up in the way that we needed it for spatial audio. There was one. It's called Beer, Beer, Beer. It's perfect. I did the mocap for that one. That's a me performance there. So when players go to our tavern in the game, they actually hear this shanty band, and it's actually a local band that we're use it for shanties and doing a really cool collaboration with. Other things that are happening in our game that can be used in these settings. I did 2 months of fashion design college after modeling because everyone told me to. I didn't really like it, but I made this concept of a pirate dress. So then we've made it in Marvelous Designer. It's currently with a 3D artist who is optimizing it so that we can then chuck it into a virtual reality pirate game. So there's really cool ways of how all of these different things are overlapping.
Just see as example that the video runs in real time on a Quest device untethered.
Oh, if you want to see how good we can make things look, that GIF up there is running at, I think it's 80 frames per second on a Quest 3 device, and it looks like that, and it's got real-time shadows. Yeah. Sorry, the nerds in the room will understand how cool that is. So when you're thinking budget, creative assets, there's a lot of off-the-shelf stuff. Everything that you saw in the demonstration that I showed you, not a single bit of that was custom. Just purchased all of that from the asset store. That sort of stuff is like really, really good base to start on, especially if this is your first project that you're going to work on, so you don't spend a bunch of money getting things custom made that may not necessarily work with what you're trying to do. I totally recommend just investing in buying a few things from the asset store that have AR kit blend shapes and like your humanoid rig, and just having a play with things. Length. When we're quoting stuff, in the first instance, we'll kind of base our price off the entire length of everything that we need recorded. But if you work with a technical producer, they can help you optimize how that stuff is captured and reduce the need for a bunch of extra things. We have technology like motion matching, for example, where we have a little choreography of how we get people to walk, and then it's just like one take. We can put all of the things on it and chuck it in very quickly, as opposed to like, all right, we need like 15 seconds to walk in this way, and then this way, and then this way, because that becomes really expensive. Fidelity is really important to think about. Do you want it to be hyper-realistic? Because that will cost you a lot of money. If you don't want it to be hyper-realistic and you want it to be very stylized, that can actually also cost you a lot of money too. Unless you plan and you know what your full vision is, a technical producer can actually help you work out how to do that in a much more efficient way. But you have to come with a very, what's the right word? Not strict, but you have to have a vision of that end style in your head to be able to get those efficiencies. And iteration. So, as everything, people know how to pivot. That's a good thing. But if this is your first time doing something like this, make sure you're planning in your timeline and your budget time with your technical team to iterate and go through those things. We've seen some heartbreaks when people go so long and gets to the point of recording, they're like, oh wait, I didn't envision it like that. And it's like, we needed to iterate on it because it's approved at every step, but as soon as they see it in action, wasn't what they were thinking. So, iteration is good. So, if you want to get started, I recommend playing with all the free tools online to see what's possible. There's a lot of them. If you want to talk to us about helping you do a live concert or any sort of motion capture, the best way to do it is send a brief of your full vision, because we can tell you what's possible out of that. One thing that's really hard for us is people come to us and go, hey, what's possible? Anything's possible. We can do all the things. But that's why we do recommend talk about budget. We have a lot of European clients because Ivan is Czech, Austrian, German, all of the things.
Not German.
Not German, sorry. He writes in German, but he's not German. And the clients that we work with from over there, they're really good at talking about money. It's not like a taboo subject. And what we find is we can produce so much higher quality work for our European clients who will talk to us about budget from the start, because there's not that like going all the way down, realizing it's too expensive, going back to the start, and then when the job finally kicks off, we have heaps of hours to recoup. If we talk about budget from the start, we can get everyone aligned and just produce something amazing for the budget that you've got there. And these are all the things that we can help you with if you would like. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to my lecture.